Hello, and welcome to Train Symphiatic and another live stream, which is more of a talking than a doing. I hope everyone is well. Good to have everyone there. Thank you to everybody who's watching. First of all, Moderato public announcement. For this came out early on today. Hi Dundee Road. So, I have a computer. This is from the Dapol website, and they have a product recall on the new working water tower. Hi Dame OG. So, if you have one of the working water towers, please contact where you bought it from or contact Dapol to find out how to get it returned. So I wanted to make sure that this was the first thing to go out today, as I thought I saw it on Facebook about 10-15 minutes ago, so I thought I'd get the product recall out. So, that's that bit. Today we're going to be flipping between the laptop and the camera. And I'm just moving the mic as I keep on blocking it. So, last week I was asked about motorising points. So, I got two sets of points here. This one here is a Pico set track point. This one here is a Pico code 100. I can't remember the name of the range point. Not set track for the other range. And both of these can be both of these can be motorised pretty easily. And Dundee Road, I agree with you, such a shame about the Dapol water tower. But they'll get it sorted and we'll get it out, so it will be sorted in the long run. And it's better for them to put the product recall out than to not. Okay, so let's go into the point. So, Streamline, thank you. So this is the Streamline point, and that's a set track. A few little things to notice with them. The set track point is shorter and wider, so that means that when you create a crossover or anything, the set track is going to have a wider gauge than the Streamline. You'll see on these points I have done some modifications. This one I've done quite a bad job of soldering wires to the side. But that's the only modification I have done to it. This is isofrog point, which means that that's a dead frog. That piece there, let me grab a sharp pointy thing. That bit there is called a frog, and that's the bit which can cause you a lot of problems. If you have a local stall on a point, it's because of the frog. The set track points are all isofrog, and that means that that's always dead. So you just need your black and blue wires, or whichever your wiring system is. So I use black for the inside, blue for the outside. As long as you have a common colouring system, it doesn't matter what colour you use, and never use the same colour wires because it will cause you confusion down the track. So This is a Pico point, but Pico, Batman and Hornby all have the same mechanism, which is this here. Without point motors, to change a point, you just flip it like so. Hi David, good to have you there. So to change the point, you just flip it like that. All the point motors do is just change the flip this for you. This is the streamline track, and this is a electrofrog. As you can see, that bit there is all metal. So with the benefit for electrofrog have is that we'll never have a section without any power. The downside is you then have a frog which you need to swap for polarity for. No, you can swap for polarity for, because you can live without you can run these and just have that bit non-powered. Also, you need to have plastic fish plates on that bit there. So I did a few modifications which this is designed to have. So we got an orange wire on this, which is for the frog, and this need to be changed. If you have a standard Pico or Batman track, you don't need to worry about this. This is something which is for the streamline range. Then I added my blue and black wires, and they just give power to those bits, and then this bit here is dead. You had two little wires there that need to be cut. So now we've got those bits done. The frog can be changed several ways. If you got the streamline track, one of the easiest solutions is this auto frog from Gauge Master, which have a relay, several other bits of electronics. You solder your frog to there, right rail there, no, one rail there, and then this will get to short, which will force that to change. Hi, Anfield Road layout in the loft, good to have you there. But some points you don't need this, you can actually change the frog with a point. So I have a selection of Pico point motors and then another point motors. So these here are Pico point motors. They get powered from your controller, and I got my controller just here so that I can show you. On the back of the controller, on the back of my controller, I have track 1 and track 2. For cheap controllers don't have track 2. Then I have 12 volts and 16 volts. I'll be changing for powering for points from the 16 volts on this, and I have him for pass powered for points off for 16 volts. So I'll put that to one side. So these 2 points might look different to you, but they're basically the same point. You have one side which is for return, and then one side which is your two powered rails, and this changed by current magnet, running a magnet to pull that over or pull that over. Excuse me. So both of these, this one have a long pin, so you can mount this underneath the track. So if you're set on your track design, mounting this is should be easy, but can be a pain. So you screw this to the underside of your board, then you place, you can see even here I'm having a struggle, then you place that on top. The controller I showed there was Gauge Master. Which one is it? It's a Gauge Master 100M, but the new Hornby ones have the same outputs. So you have your sheet of material between there, and then that change with a change of a point motor. If you know your layout design, this is quite a good way to go. But if you're going to keep on changing your layout design, or if you don't want that hassle, there's two other options. You can get these from other manufacturers. I just like the Pico ones. So you will see this at the weekend. These can also be powered from your DCC accessory decoder, which I normally do. So this is such a simple system. You get your point motor, then you get these adapter boards, and you just place it on the track like so. Then when you apply power, it will change the point. But with this system, you need to make sure that you can you need to know the spacing, which can cause a bit of problem. I have spent ages before just getting these to the right position. Then Pico bought these out. They normally have much longer cables, but when I have a faulty point motor, I cut the cable off so that I know that it's dodgy. So this come in the pack with a little standoff to go on the bottom, these two little bits which you just put through, and 3 wires. I can't remember what the colour code is. You'll need to check with your instructions, but one of these will change the point one way, one the other, and then one for common return. On the points, both of the Pico ones, you have got these little location lugs there and there, there and there. So you line this up to the lugs, put that over there, and then that just snaps and changes the points. You'll notice on my layout, either beside there or beside there, I have a little micro switch, and that's how I change the points. These I love, they're so easy to set up. But if you're going onto your if you're going on for underneath option, you then have these big beasts. This is what's known as a slow action point motor, when these are quick action. So this just go like that and like that. This have a metal rod coming through, and then applying power. You have two connections, left and right. So to change the switch, you switch over the way the power is applied. So that then just turn the point slowly. Then you have additional contacts, because in there you got to power off sliders. So you have two lots of contacts which change depending on the direction the point is switched. I can't remember the order of these, but you can have one for your frog and then one for LEDs for feedback. So I believe that these are 16 volts and these are tortoise motors, and they're my favourite motors. DCC Concept make several versions of these, but I have heard problems about them. This is such an easy thing to use. I once nearly killed one of these as I drilled into it in the wrong place, but took the screws out, quick bit of reassembly, and it's still working without any problems. Next thing you need to consider is how are you going to change your points, as I have said how you're going to connect it, and this is where about these buttons come in. This is the simplest system, just push button. So you have your feed coming in here. This will come from your controller. Then you have these two wires going to your two changeover wires on that, and then your third wire from this going to the other side of the controller. And when you press the button, you make a basic circuit and it will change the point, whichever wire you push. But there can be a problem with that. You might not have enough power to change your point motors. So that you would need something called a capacitor discharge unit. I don't have one of those any longer, but I'll go on to Gauge Master on the computer and we can have a look at it. So for the people who missed at the beginning, that will have a product recall on the working water towers. So if you have one of the new water towers, contact your supplier or depot directly to go and get that sorted. So I'm going to use Gauge Master because I like them. And we're going to look for CD capacitor CDU, which would bring up 1, and this is a capacitor discharge unit. What this does is it go and give you more power to flip your switch. So one of the biggest problems you have with changing your motor, your points with the system, is you might not have enough oomph, as if one of these go and get a bit sticky, which they do over time, and you also have the spring you need to overpower. You need a little bit of oomph, will just give it enough power to push it through. So this is the Gauge Master version, and you can see it has some very beefy tracks. So you'll need to check the instructions, but you have your power coming into two of the inputs, and then your power, your power to your point and switches coming to the other, coming out to the other. So that's the capacitor discharge unit. Next thing is how to change the switch. So I'm going to do a quick search for point switches, and there are so many options. This here is an oldie but goodie. It's a Hornby switch. These been around for as long as I've been in modern railwaying, and on the back of them you have two outputs, then you have an input coming in the side. You then have many different ones, so I'm going to put Pico in front of this and see what's it come up with. Nothing, because I need to delete that word. So, good evening, SG Carter. So this is for Pico system. First thing on is a micro switch. This is what I use to change the polarity of a switch. So you have a common coming in. I don't mean for polarity. This is what I use to change the frog on the switch, which if you're using set track you don't need to worry about. But basically this is a little switch that go and get pushed. So I'll just go back. And then Pico have some nice switches. And you need the correct type of switch, which I can't remember which one it is. You don't want it permanently on, but they do a really nice system. So I'll just try to find it. Yep, they have these little turnout switch modules, add-ons, which take out all the hassle with wiring. So you send power into these, you put your switch in there, and then your power comes straight out. So I think I have covered everything with the switch point motors, which I can. Actually, I think I'll show you the Hornby point motors. As if you're using a Hornby with Pico or Pico with Hornby, I can't remember which one it is. You need to make these holes just a little bit. I need to swap camera. Yeah, you need to make those holes just a little bit bigger, because I can't remember which way around it is, but those bits are slightly different size on Hornby compared to Pico. So let's go back to the computer. So Hornby have a basic surface mounted switch, which is again 3 wires. Then let me go back. You then have Hornby branded point motors, same as the Pico one, but this only had 3 wires going to it. And to use this with your track, they have a nice looking point motor house, which also is a little shed. So I hope this have helped everyone with point motors. So let's go on to the next bit of the video. when I remember whereabouts I put it. So this week have just been a break from for model build. Next week we'll be back to the model build, and I've stuck it somewhere. Why do people let me to look after my own stuff? I've chosen which model I'm going to be doing next, and I can't remember where I placed it. So hang on a second. Sorry about this. I'm just trying to find it. Oh, I dropped it on the floor. So this is going to be my next Wednesday live stream model. I wanted something easy and quick, as the two models we've done so far have taken a while to build. So let's have a look on the instructions. So this is still for Set Carlisle range. Metcalf have actually said what the next model going to be, and that's going to be the Castle range. So we can have a look what we got in here, and we got a much smaller instruction manual. So windows, doors and frame. So we got a roof, rear wall, inner supporting wall, inner roof. Then we have doors and windows, ends, top bit, more windows, and then for the rest of the building. So that's what we're going to do next week, and I'm going to call it a day there. Monday next week we got a fun video. Mum allowed me in the kitchen and I made a cake. So Monday's video is going to be showing you me making my cake. Then Saturday this week is most probably the car system, as I've been playing around with it and I'm starting to get there. I just need to get motivated to get stuff done on it. So, and then next Wednesday we'll start on the build of this. So thank you everybody for watching. Is that the button? Yep. So thank you everybody for watching. Make sure to catch my video on Saturday, and I'll see you all then. Thank you for watching.